back to another episode of Ignite&Scale, where we get under the bonnet with the most interesting founders, operators and innovators shaping the future of mobility and automotive. I'm your host, Mike Allen, and today I'm joined by somebody who's right at the intersection of where consumer demand meets dealer innovation, JV, CEO of Carwow. John, thanks so much for joining me. I know how full on things are at Carwow, so really appreciate you making the time.
Mike, it's great to see you. Thanks for the invite. Looking forward to it.
No problem. So let's dig into it really. So I guess let's rewind a little bit before we talk about Carwow today. I mean, you've worked across some pretty iconic digital businesses in your time. Apple, Dell, Expedia, Farfetch, and now you're deep into the automotive sector. I mean, what drew you to this industry, and were there any standout moments that shaped how you lead today?
It's a good question. I think there's probably two aspects to it. I've been pretty lucky, I suppose, to work for some phenomenal companies. I've actually this year is my 30th year of working, despite actually I'm slightly red today after spending too much time in the sun. So I've been working for 30 years. So I've been working in the internet space since I left uni, and I've always enjoyed the marketplace model where you sit a capital-light business that helps both consumers and partners connect together. And I suppose the reason I ended up in the auto space, I think first of all, actually, I love in my private life. I probably spent way too much of my family's money on cars. So I used to work at Farfetch, working in luxury clothing, and I probably didn't have quite the connection with the products that we sold. I'm not that fashionable, but I love cars. So real joy to work in this category, and our partners. I enjoy spending time with them. I learn so much about the industry. So it feels a real privilege in that sense. And then I think the second point is, what we've seen over the course of the last decade is, more and more people are moving online to start that research phase when they think about changing car. And I'm an ex-marketeer actually, and I remember, seeing what Matt and James did with content and Carwow. I think is pretty amazing. So many CMOs have tried to figure out how to use content to help drive sales of a particular product. And I think what James and Matt did is pretty amazing, actually. And I was really keen to be involved in that, actually. Our business model, if you look at the number of people we engage with in a given month, the 9 million or so people that change car every year in the UK, we see most of those across our content network, whether that's on YouTube with video or Auto Express in terms of written content. And I was transfixed by how do you connect content with the marketplace model. So there's more and more people go online, we can get people back into dealerships. And intellectually, I was really there are very few brands, I think, that have actually cracked this connection between content and commerce. And that's why I ended up in this category.
I mean, I remember I met you, I think it was about 5 years ago, John, when you started as COO and then you took the reins as CEO in 2022, which, that so much has happened since then in the industry. I mean, we've had rising EV adoption, we've had supply constraints, and then we've had the market flood again, we've had inflation pressures. I mean, you name it, everything gets thrown at this industry, which we know, and that's always been the case. But since you stepped into that CEO role, I think a lot's changed at Carwow as well. You've put your own stamp on the business. But what would be what's the thing you're most proud of in that time of just rapid change and genuine madness within the space?
I think, again, there's probably two aspects of what we've done that I'm really, really proud of. I think, first of all, on the partner side, we've really tried to invest into building a better Carwow for dealer partners. And that means, ultimately they pay our bills, and we want to create great product and build really strong relationships with them. And, we spent a lot of time focusing on that. And I think we are seeing really positive rewards from that in terms of really strong levels of partnership now. I think the second piece we've done is, and it really relates to how we help dealers. Um, I suppose consumers would often watch our videos and that they will come to our website with a view to changing cars. And we would only help them if they wanted to buy a brand new car. Now, that's only a tiny proportion of the market. And so we've done a lot of work, obviously, with the Sell My Car proposition. We can help consumers sell their old car. It's great for dealers because it helps them replenish their forecourt really efficiently. We're now looking at used cars as well. 76% of people that come to Carwow on a given day are actually looking for a used car. Matt's review from 7 years ago, you probably can't buy that car new anymore, but still we've got our back catalogue gets millions of views every single month. And so I, s- I'm most proud to some degree that I think we've leveraged the potential of the business in terms of the level of engagement from both partners and from consumers, and that's been a lot of work. But I think to your point as well, so much has been thrown at this industry over the course of the last 5 years, and again, I love that because you want the agility. I suppose we employ humans because we want people who've got the agility to, respond to change constantly, and I think this industry really does. I think the carware business is more resilient now, though, than it's ever been in terms of its ability to respond to change, to crisis, to whatever's thrown at us. And I think that's given us internally a lot more confidence to, again, just make sure we keep helping consumers and our dealer partners.
And if we could zone in, I mean, I'd describe you, I think, and you've put this across as a marketplace fanatic. I mean, whenever I first met you, you were always so fanatical about marketplaces and looking after every aspect of that. I guess Carwow started this journey as empowering the consumer with dealers, and actually that can work either way now, in a marketplace. But what is it about the marketplace business that energizes you? Is it the network effect? Is it the data? Is it something else entirely? What fuels that fanaticism that you've got about marketplaces?
I think ultimately, from my perspective, I always look back to my time at Farfetch actually, when so we were a luxury clothing marketplace, so selling Gucci sneakers rather than Ford Pumas, and the thing that I loved the most about it, I would often go to Paris or to Milan and meet small boutique owners who just had a store in Milan, and our marketplace allowed them to sell their products across the entire globe. And it was risk free. We spend all of our money, whether at Farfetch or at Carwow, on marketing. That's what we're really good at, providing distribution. And so it was a completely risk-free way of relatively small businesses being able to sell to the world. And you get up every day. That is a pretty cool mission, actually. And I see the same thing at Carwow ultimately. That I think to your point, initially we were seen as this disruptor, that we were taking people out of showrooms. That is not our goal. I suppose we are accepting of the fact that people enjoy going online to research. Buying a car is it's a huge commitment, not just about thinking about price, but actually thinking, am I buying the right car? And that's why we put so much emphasis on content because we think it's a great way of helping people build a shortlist, figure out what are the best options for you as your circumstances change. And that's why I love the marketplace model because you create this breadth of choice for consumers. You give them access to everything in the market, regardless of where they live. So if you don't live near a Land Rover dealer, well, actually we can help you with that shortlist, and then we can help introduce you to the best partner that is relatively close by to you, and get you into the perfect car. And that to me is a great reason to get up every day. It provides breadth of choice for consumers, but allows this brilliant distribution mechanism for partners. And I always talk about that. I think Carwow was misunderstood, because my pitch to dealers is, obviously car dealers, spend a lot of money on buildings, on employing brilliant salespeople, brilliant, building a brilliant service environment, and we spend all of our money on marketing. More than 50% of what we generate goes into marketing. And the way I think about it, if you're a partner, is I'm converting a fixed cost, because I pay for all the media, all of the content we create, into a variable cost for partners. Because they only pay if we deliver results. So if you generate an inquiry, you pay. If we don't send you any inquiries, you don't pay us any money. But I have still spent money trying to generate those inquiries. So I think often it's a bit misunderstood because I think it's just an amazing distribution mechanic for partners that's low risk and ultimately helps them tap into a massive audience. And that's why I'm so enthusiastic about what we do every day.
No, I agree, and obviously you're looking to empower all participants in that marketplace as well, which is really powerful with the network effect. But I mean, if we shift on to, I'm really interested to understand what's your view on the automotive landscape over the next 3 to 5 years. Appreciate anything has been thrown at this sector before, but what do you see? Are we heading towards vertical integration? Is it about brand power, software? What are going to be the big kind of changes, do you think, in the wider automotive space?
Yeah, I think certainly. I think one of the changes, and we're already seeing this actually. I still think the changing nature of the powertrain is again, I think has its ups and downs, but I do think that is, really pivotal in terms of providing consumers with more choice. They have, a lot more choice in terms of brands now, but also the types of cars that they actually buy. And I think we are going to see a lot of change there. Certainly, the advent of the EV grant just a couple of weeks ago, and some quite significant changes in pricing strategy from many of the manufacturers. I do think that's going to change. The proportion of cars that are ultimately EVs, I think, is going to change quite quickly now over the course of the next 12 to 18 months. In part because I just think we're going to get to price parity with ICE at a slightly faster pace now, and I think that will drive significant change. And I do think that creates lots of opportunities for both manufacturers, for dealer partners, and for Carwow to help people navigate those choices because it is quite a shift, I think, for most of the early majority have already bought EVs of probably on their second or third car now, but that mass market is a much more challenging space to service, I think. So really significant. I still believe I'm an ardent believer that this category will continue to be predominantly omni-channel. I don't think we're going to see 70. I think now actually it's an amazing stat actually I was reading that 70% of our in the UK, it's actually a global leader. 70% of all clothes now are bought online in the UK, which is totally insane. I don't think we'll see that in the car industry because I think people want to, that experience. It's amazing retail theatre, but I do think we'll see more people shortlisting online and spending more time engaging on trying to figure out what it is they want to buy before actually going into a showroom. And again, we can see that in terms of our hours spent on Carwow continues to ramp. Um, so I think those are probably some of the sort of more near term opportunities. Again, long term, it's hard to predict. Like you say, there's so many things that we've seen even just in the last 12 months that you might not have bet on. Um, I, 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 I still believe the franchise model will again persist. I think it's very well suited actually to a world, an omni-channel world where consumers are using online for research, but then really need to go and see an expert in a particular vehicle. And I think the franchise model, our franchise partners are so good at that. I think we will continue to see that persist. And I do think we may see a bit more. We're certainly seeing more stock come back into market now as well. So. Is perhaps a little bit of result from some of the tariff changes, etc., that we've seen in other markets. But I think again, I think we'll see a little bit more stock and a bit more pressure on RRP in terms of those coming down in order to try and drive more sales volume on new vehicles versus used.
I mean, there's a lot of untapped opportunities, isn't there? Particularly when you consider the marketplace that you're building. There's always things that you can develop and improve for consumers and dealers alike, really, to improve the journeys on both. Are you able to say, are there any untapped areas that are just huge for you that you think, God, that should be massive in the next 3 to 5 years for us? Are there any particular verticals that are of, that could and should be interesting and are underserved at the moment?
Yeah, I think the biggest one for us is used cars, given we have so many people on the site that come and look and are looking for a used car, and that's just we are underserving our current users, and so that's going to be a big area of focus for us, both in the UK but also in Germany as well. I suppose after Auto Trader, we are hands down the leader in terms of overall traffic volumes. But we don't have a huge number of used cars on our platform at the moment, and that's something we want to address. We're also interested in leasing. We're seeing massive growth across both our leasing comparison business and also brokerage. I think that ultimately goes hand in hand with the shift to EV. I think for many consumers, leasing is a good option, and more of them are engaging there. So again, we're working with both brokers, but also increasingly dealer groups that are looking to really figure out what's their answer to leasing, and that we think is a really quite meaningful opportunity as well. I think the last one, it's probably not quite as big for us, is also commercial vehicles. So we just launched, we've not called it VanWow, the brand team overruled me, but again, that's an opportunity for us, in part just because we have so much traffic from people looking for commercial vehicles, and until recently you couldn't find those on the platform.
No, John, it's been really brilliant hearing your perspective, and thank you again for joining. It's much appreciated. If people want to follow what Carwow's up to or connect with you or the team directly, where's best to find you?
Yeah, so we're sort of most active from a B2B perspective on LinkedIn. So that's where we tend to publish most of the sort of interesting news in terms of things that we're up to. Or you can feel free to email me directly. So jv@carwow. My surname is very difficult to spell. My initials are simple, so jv@carwow.com. So feel free to reach out if you want to chat directly.
That's great. Cheers, John.
Thanks, Mike. Really good to see you. Take care.
If you want to listen to more episodes of the podcast, we're on all good audio platforms. Our website is also www.cambriaprivatecapital.com, and you can also find myself on LinkedIn and Twitter, where we publish our weekly blogs as well. Please do get in touch if you want more information.